Hey guys, this is Derek and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be taking you all quickly through 5 top tips that I have to help you all with backgrounds. This is something that I've done on Instagram earlier. I thought I'll just make a YouTube video on it. Anyway, let's get straight to it. Point number 1 is do a lot of studies. What I mean by a study is to find a reference. It can be a photograph, a movie screen capture, still from a game, or even life around you, and study it. What I mean by that is to copy it as you see it, and also start questioning the elements of it. Start observing, like, why are these mountains over here much lighter than the foreground elements? Look at the way the sky gradients out from 2 different colors. Look how the lighting affects the grass over here, whereas it's the same grass here, but this grass is in the shadow, so it's dark. The way the lighting affects the wooden posts over here, and so on. But now when it comes to studies, one important point that I have is to find images or like reference images that are as close to nature as possible to start off with, because once you get a good grasp on how nature is originally, it's like building up your base, building up your fundamentals, as opposed to taking an image like this, which is like overly edited and there's like unnatural greens over here. You won't really find these. Like, a lot of digital artists, when starting off, they use a lot of saturated colors and tones which make it look completely unnatural, and then they don't have an application to use these in, say, a movie, a video game, or art, or even illustrations. It just looks too unnatural. So studies, and I suggest going with starting with nature first. I'll just get to that. So why nature, right? Nature because it's organic, and I'll just give you an example. So for example, if we have a tree, right, that we want to draw, say we want to draw this tree, and we all know what a tree looks like, right? But even if we draw it, a little wonky, like, because if you're a beginner and so on, you can't really draw that well, this still looks like a tree, right? It does not look like anything else. So you have the liberty and freedom to explore, right? If you're drawing a mountain, right, but you draw it in a different shape, it still looks like a mountain. Now when it comes to drawing inorganic or man-made things such as buildings, right? Say you have a building that you want to draw, right? Now this follows different types of perspective. There are windows over here that you have to fill in, and like as it gets closer to the horizon, these straighten out. So how do you get this perspective? It's very easy to make it look wrong early on, and this can be for anything, even as simple as a water bottle. It is really hard, to get it perfectly symmetrical on either side, to capture the details, the designs on it, and so on. So just start with nature. It's easier to go, and nature is great, especially landscapes. Colors are beautiful. Okay, moving on. Start rough. Okay, what I mean by starting rough is take images you find online and roughly plot them out. Okay, if you can see this image, for example, it's a really rough sketch, right? There's just quick brush strokes going about it and not much detail at all. Like this mountain scene over here with the river flowing, the river is just a few strokes, right? I'm not spending too much time detailing it. I'm just trying to get a grasp, get an essence of what the image looks like, and then moving on. Okay, what I had done initially when I started off was spending a lot of time and detailing and getting an image to look as good as possible. I'll just show you guys an example of that. These 4 paintings, okay, I spent a few good hours on these, right? But the thing is, once I got to a point where it was just polishing in the details, I stopped learning from it. This was just making the image look good. Now when it comes to getting good at backgrounds faster, there's a certain point where you have to stop worrying about the details and moving on to the next painting. Otherwise you'll just be stuck here for hours making it look like a photograph, and that's it, you've done one. But instead of doing one of these, you could actually do about 10 of these and learn 10 times faster. So this is just one way that I use to quickly get a better understanding of different landscapes, as opposed to just spending a ton of time on one. Alright, next thing is, once you start studying backgrounds and get better at it, start adding in a character or two. Okay, when you add in a character to a background that you have reference from somewhere and you don't have a reference of a character to it, you will then start questioning, okay, where is the light source coming from, and how do I add lighting to this character that I'm adding in? Where are the shadows going to be? How do I match this character's color to that of the background? So you'll start asking questions that you never really did before. That is an important point. Or even if it's a silhouette, you know, do I need to make it a complete silhouette, or do I need to give some essence of fur or hair over here? If I add rim lighting, how is that going to affect it? Where is the shadow of the creature going to be, the character? How do I make this character match the background? What colors do I use for the slight essence of the fur? Is it going to be reflecting any lights from the background or anything of the sort? Where is the shadow reflections going to be? You start learning a lot faster. Now these 4 are all backgrounds that are taken from images that I found on sites like Pexels or Wallup or even Pinterest, and I started adding in characters to them. Just at this point, I didn't really care about the story element as much. It was just building up the skill and ability on how to add characters to the backgrounds, which I was already improving on. So that is step 3. Okay, now step 4 is, what if you want to create your own backgrounds or own scenes where you don't really want to reference too much, you know, like what if you want to put an idea out first and then take references for it to match that idea, right? For that, you start working on thumbnails. What I mean by a thumbnail is a quick sketch that that just captures in your idea roughly. These are, to be honest, these weren't that quick, but keep them as quick and rough as possible. I think these took about 15 to 20 minutes each, but okay, I think we are okay for time. Let me just quickly give you an example of getting an idea in fast, right? So first idea comes to my mind is, I imagine myself cycling on a early morning city road, right? So I'm just gonna first, I like painting skies a lot, so I'm just gonna add in some clouds. Take any brush you want, it doesn't matter. Again, brushes don't matter. So I'm just gonna add some semblance of a road. And since it is going to be a city, right, I just want to add in some buildings in the distance. This again is just to give me a rough idea of what my final painting is going to look like, or what my ideas are. And I do want to add some depth to this painting, so if I add a street light over here, street light in the distance, street light in the distance, now I get the idea that okay, there is some depth to this. Okay, and then say I want to add my character just quickly cycling over here, so I just quickly sketch my character in on the road and add some shadows. And if I want, just work on the contrast, the brightness, to get it a little more dramatic, like early morning. And yeah, that's it. That is a very, very quick thumbnail. Now I can then take this idea and keep building on it more and more and turn it out into a proper fleshed out painting. That's just a rough example. You take more time. I think this was a minute sketch or so. Just spend as much time as you need. Don't rush it, but roughly capture your ideas in. Okay, that's step 4. Step 5 is those thumbnails, now start making them in color, right? I'll just give you guys some examples. See, these need not, at this point in my case, I didn't really think about the story element too much, but just capturing the character, the background and idea that I wanted to convey. For example, like here, this is just an example of a dragon flying in the sky. No story to it. It's just capturing that mood, that moment. This is a twilight night where a character is just sitting and just watching the sky. And a giant octopus. I mean, I don't even know what I was thinking at this point. It was just fun. So here's where you get to have a lot of fun. I mean, have fun in general, but still, and just put your ideas out, experiment with colors, don't worry too much about it. And this is just for you to grow as an artist. Okay, and the thing is, it takes a lot of practice. Okay, you can't just be making 1 or 2 pages of these, you know. You have to really go at it quite hard and spend hours and hours to actually improve. So here's just an example of a few more thumbnails I've been working on in the past. I'll just zoom in. Yeah, this works better. So these are just random ideas. If I just pick a random few, it's like, okay, hey, you know, there's a boat over here. Like, I could add some story element by, look, there's a character over here who's like talking to somebody else who's in the boat, and this then makes it, and it's a casual day, so there are other people walking down here, and this makes it like a homely setting, gives it some story element to it. This is just a witch flying in the sky, dragon burning a city, person looking at the sky for no reason. These are just random ideas. Okay, yeah, there's a bear that looks really bad actually. So if I make a character sitting on the bear pulling a load of logs or something in the distance, probably gives some idea of a village, and add like barricades on the side to show that this is a civilized pathway. You get the idea, right? I can then take some of these ideas and just constantly build them up. Here I could add some glowing lights, a person in the foreground with like a sword, and then here's the enemy standing, and that becomes like a boss battle, a boss scene. Here's another example where, okay, I could add some explorer character with a hat, just standing over here looking up, and there's some creature like a monkey or something jumping from this tree to this tree. It's just roughly catching the ideas in. So honestly, give it time, give it practice, spend time on it, love it, and enjoy the process. But I assure you, if you follow these 5 steps, you will get better. This is what personally helped me. There are also another disclaimers that there are many different ways to go about improving, so don't just take this, learn from other people as well, and experiment and explore for yourself. Also, the picture that was put up in the thumbnail, I'll just play a quick time lapse of that for you guys, so you can see how exactly I went about painting that one. Anyway, take care and have a nice day. Bye.